Let's change the setting. Hi, this is my third attempt. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I am testing with this whole going live type of deal. Welcome. This is La, and yes, I am an accidental chicken whisperer. As I like to say it, I didn't choose this life chose me. I decided to just try this whole go live thing because I just got done, or at least I was tuning in briefly to some kind of podcast about things that are different with YouTube and the things that's going to change over the next couple years. Not that I'm always into fad or etc., but it is good to just know what are some of the latest statistics and um, going ons. Partly because this whole YouTube thing is new for me, unbeknownst to a lot of people. I actually never really went on YouTube ever. I might have done some Google and some video would show up. And so I would maybe look at it if the video is longer than 2 minutes. Basically, it's some kind of tutorial on how to do things. But I rarely ever actually went on YouTube to watch anything, to watch the news, to just get some creative ideas. None of that stuff. I was a straight, I don't know, you can call it cable network type of deal person for the longest time. And then I have to say, since the pandemic, uh, when everything was basically shut down and nothing, you can't, there was nothing to do, there's no movie theater. I decided, what can we watch? What can I do? And in fact, that's pretty much when we actually started using our Netflix account a lot more. Um, Although I should back up just a little bit, it was very difficult in the beginning anyway, because here on the farm, we didn't have the greatest internet connection. We were operating on satellite, and that was not the greatest. When it rained, or if it's too windy, we would lose connection. So streaming any kind of services was not the greatest. It would lag. In fact, both my husband and I, we and all the kids, whenever anyone's here, we couldn't even use the Wi-Fi as well because, well, it just wasn't able to pick up so many cell phones. So that was always difficult. Not to mention that I really couldn't get any kind of calls into the house. So in a way, that was good because then we weren't always connected. But now that they upgraded the system and we actually have fiber optic, they put it in since the pandemic. So now everything is just high speed. I can now operate my laptop. We can stream our cell phones. All of us can use it all at once. So it's kind of a cool thing. It's only been in the last couple of years. So back to my original story about me learning this whole YouTube thing. I actually have never done YouTube or gone on YouTube for anything other than just some short, very short video, like 2 minutes, on how to maybe make something, how to fix something, how to do something. Even then, it was not the greatest, and I rarely ever went. But like I said, the pandemic has changed all of that for everyone, especially me, and also Netflix. Because there was nothing to do, I would just find things on YouTube just to watch. Since we got upgrade in our fiber optic out here, so that's part of the reason why after quite some time, I decided, had enough guts to jump on YouTube to start creating content. Although I'm still learning, I know I admire everyone who seems to have these pro things, and I'm always enamored by it. So it's still a test. It's just something that I do on my quote unquote free time, right? From between running a small food cart here in Oregon and our farm and just life. It's always, it's always difficult. At least it's a little bit difficult to be consistent with some things, but I'm getting back at it. So back to why I jumped on this whole thing is because I was just listening to a very short podcast, 12-minute long, and I love these really short ones, is that, they suggested going live. I guess perhaps a lot of it is all in light of everything that's happening with AI and the creation of all of these digital stuff, which I think is kind of cool. Even I've been duped. My own kids were like, "Mom, that's AI generated." Who knew how amazing AI can be? But it seems like people really want to see more realness, and why not, right? I actually was up anyway early here in the Pacific Northwest making coffee while listening to that on YouTube, and I decided, what is this going live thing? I know that sometimes I tune into live broadcast, but I myself have never done it. So here I am having coffee, my chicken, um, and testing this whole thing out and seeing how coffee with La, the accidental chicken whisperer, would work. So, well, I'm about close to 6 minutes in, still testing, still learning. Hopefully, as I continue to do this, there'll be more of you having coffee with me, chit chatting early in the morning. I don't know what time all of you wake up, but me, usually by like 5:30, 6 o'clock, I already am up. In fact, I have to be very proud of myself that I'm actually up earlier than my own roosters. I guess I just have a bunch of lazy roosters, right? So I unfortunately am on my second cup of coffee. I start with espresso, and then the second cup I do brew another, not as strong espresso, and then I dilute it a little bit with just some hot water because, well, I love espresso, but it can, drinking two of them back to back, it is a little bit kind of harsh and acidic. So I'm trying to, I need to be a little bit careful about that. But, well, here I am doing my very first live. I'll keep it up. Let me see how I feel about, this whole live thing. I may take it down. We'll see. And I'll try to jump on a little bit more. I think it's kind of nice. I can see why there is an allure to doing things live. Part of it is because you are here in your natural habitat environment. No filter, no nothing, no cleaning, no editing, just unfiltered. So I can see why things are leaning a lot more towards this way with people online on YouTube who are doing things, creating content, is that we want to see the realness in everyone. And I guess that's perhaps the real reason these days. And I can see why maybe that's why it's going to be the go-to things to do moving forward. As much as I like watching some of those curated, slow living, edited videos, and they're really neat. I really love them. In fact, it's one of those things that I do and that I watch in the background. I don't always watch, but I play it in the background while I'm cooking or I'm driving, cleaning, etc. And I'm sure most of you do it too. But in so many ways, is it real? I don't know. Sometimes when I do my own editing, I look at it and I cut out some of my ums and some of me stumbling over my own words. And I try not to do that too much because, well, like I always say, I'm too old for it. So I am getting ready to go out. I thought I'd jump on live here and say hi. I'm going to finish up my coffee here and put on my typical farm jacket, my boots, and go out there and release the chickens before I head out to run some errands and head to the food cart. So thank you for tuning in on my very first live. I will do a little bit more of these coffee with La, the accidental chicken whisperer. So all of you have a wonderful day. Take care. Rise and shine. Let me see how this works. Ending stream. Okay, it says ending stream. All right, I'm clicking end.